A total of 1458 COVID-19 cases were reported across the state by 12 noon on Wednesday, but the number of COVID-19 deaths stands at 40. The number of patients who have recovered across the state are 553 and 864 active cases still exist. Hassan has seen the highest spike in cases with 21, followed by Bidar, which saw 10 new cases. In Afzalpur of Kalaburgi district, the government officials are neglecting to give food kits to the needy. It is also alleged that the officials are misusing the food kits for personal use, which has irked the needy now. A lizard was found in the food that was served to the migrant workers in Kalaburgi. This led to a huge fight between the migrant workers and the officials on the spot.
ये खाने में छपनी दिख रही है
हमसे खाल दे
गाँव में नाम कह रहे
तो कोरवा
कोरवार नवोदय स्कूल में खानों की घाल रहे का खाने में छपनी चा देखो भाई ये खाने में छपनी दिख रही है
हमसे खाल दे
गाँव में नाम कह रहे
तो कोरवा
कोरवार नवोदय स्कूल में खानों की घाल रहे का खाने में छपनी चा देखो भाई.
Migrant workers hailing from Maharashtra were quarantined at Yadgir district at other school in Yadgir. While the migrant workers were distributed food, the migrant workers rushed to get food at the quarantine center. Salons and beauty parlors were open in Mangaluru. Most of the shop staff were seen with gloves and other protective equipment to stem COVID-19 spread. It is reported that a doctor has tested positive in Chikmagaluru, while a few suspect that the doctor must have got infected by a patient who was treated by the doctor. But the district officials are yet to identify the source of the virus infection. Meanwhile, the doctor didn't show any symptoms of COVID-19. A doctor from Hassan has also tested positive, and this has caused panic among residents. In the outskirts of the district, the doctor who is suspected to have tested positive is said to have been stayed at a place on the outskirts of Mandya. District officials are now struggling to find the person who came in contact with the doctor. As the thief has tested positive for COVID-19 in Anekal, the police who were around the thief over 22 have now been quarantined. 22 Hebbagodi police have been quarantined at a hotel. Hundreds arrived at Hassan from Mumbai, and among them 20 are said to have tested positive for COVID-19. And this has now led to panic among residents of the district. 4 DYSPs and 6 CPIs have been quarantined in Shivamogga. This has now made the government transfer 1 ASP from Bengaluru to ensure law and order is maintained in Shivamogga. Patient number 585, 616 and 635 from Davangere, who were infected by the deadly pandemic, were discharged from the district hospital. Now the 3 patients were felicitated with a garland. 3 people from Tumakuru have illegally entered the district, and the officials have identified the 3. And the samples have been sent for the lab for testing. While the result is yet to come, residents of Tumakuru are now living in virtual fear. Fear of people coming from Mumbai and testing positive in the state is increasing day by day. And this has made the district officials of Mandya and Belagavi close their borders in order to restrict people entering their districts. Now many people are struggling in the borders of Mandya without food and water. The people are not able to go inside the district or to even go back to Mumbai. As there has been no work in villages, many workers from Yadgir were found moving towards Bengaluru, expecting that they would find some job in the city. Particularly, hundreds of workers were travelling from Surapur Taluk in Yadgir to Bengaluru. As the buses begin to ply on roads, people in Shivamogga arrived at KSRTC bus stand. A huge crowd was witnessed as passengers were waiting for the buses. Passengers from various districts were waiting for the buses to head back to their native towns. All passengers were screened before they were allowed to board buses. Details of the passengers were also collected by the KSRTC staff, and they were asked to provide their phone numbers, address and a valid ID card issued by the government as proof. Only passengers wearing masks were allowed inside the bus depot in Kolar. Many of them had been waiting to return to their hometowns, and as the government eased lockdown rules, they came out in large numbers to the bus stop. The number of passengers waiting for buses was also high in Ramanagara KSRTC bus stand. Most of the passengers had to travel to Bengaluru. Passengers who had to travel to Bengaluru from Gadag were seen struggling as they had no information about whether the buses were functioning or not in their district. The bus stand wore a deserted look till about 7:30 a.m. Buses in Belagavi have been plying without any passengers as the passengers are very less. The KSRTC buses which move to other districts have been stopped currently at Belagavi district. Passengers travelling to Bengaluru, Mangaluru, Mandya, Mysuru from Madikeri have been increasing. Passengers throng the city bus stand from 5 a.m. Two flights from Muscat have reached Mangaluru. Over 178 passengers have arrived in the two Vande Bharat mission flights, and 63 others are yet to reach Mangaluru in the third flight. Among 178 that have arrived so far, 115 hail from Bengaluru. Despite government giving an option for private cabs to resume operations, the drivers and owners seem to be afraid of COVID-19 spreading in Mysuru. Private cab drivers also claim that they have no passengers and it is hence better to stay back at home. In Gadag district central bus stand, passengers were seen without maintaining any social distancing, nor did they wear any mask, and were least bothered about cleanliness. For a while, the passengers were not even screened for their temperature. A report on the negligence of social distancing in KSRTC bus station at Gadag was aired by News 9 and TV9. The KSRTC DC, who was alerted after the report aired on your channel, visited the spot and ordered that only 30 people will be allowed to travel by a bus and not more than that at any cost. While many passengers had come along with their children to Raichur bus stand, they were sent back by the officials. According to the government rules, children below 10 years and senior citizens above 60 years are not allowed to travel across the state. In just 24 hours, over 8 buses have departed from Vijayanagara to reach Bengaluru. Now, people to travel to Bengaluru bought tickets online, and the temperature of all the passengers were recorded before they boarded the buses. Under the MNREGA scheme, many migrant workers were supposed to be given jobs. While a few migrant workers were not given jobs, they resorted to protest against the officials. The workers took the PDO to task in Ramanagara village. As the CM's secretary, Renukacharya, has responded to the difficulties of the migrant workers and the poor of Onnalli in Davangere, the residents began to shower flowers on the leader while he was on his visit in the taluk. On a lighter note, a COVID-19 testing lab has been set up in Udupi's Manipal Hospital. After 2 months of pressure, the Indian Medical Association has finally given a permission for the district authority to set up the testing lab.
ಕಾಲೇಜು ಹಾಗೂ ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆಗೆ ಐಸಿಎಂಆರ್ ಭಾರತೀಯ ವೈದ್ಯಕೀಯ ಸಂಶೋಧನಾ ಮಂಡಳಿಯಿಂದ ಕೋವಿಡ್-19 ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯವನ್ನು ಆರಂಭಿಸಲು ಅನುಮತಿ ದೊರೆತಿದೆ. ಅದರಂತೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯವು ಮಣಿಪಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂದಿನಿಂದ ಕಾರ್ಯಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಇದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಉಡುಪಿ ಹಾಗೂ ಉತ್ತರ ಕನ್ನಡ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳಿಂದ ಕೋವಿಡ್-19ನ ಪರೀಕ್ಷಾ ಮಾದರಿಯ ತ್ವರಿತ ಫಲಿತಾಂಶವನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯಲು ಈ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯವು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸಹಕಾರಿಯಾಗಲಿದೆ.